Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father. Happy to have with us tonight Father Bem. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Indeed.
How was your Easter?
It went well. Same as usual. Busy, but it was good. It was nice. It was nice to have Easter Monday off. It was the first day off I'd had in a couple of months, actually, because I'm teaching again this semester, and so I teach on Mondays, which is my regular free day. So it was nice. They didn't have school, and so I had a little time. It was good. How about yourself? How
Well,
was yours?
I ended up canceling Mass Monday morning
Ah, good.
because as I celebrating the Easter liturgy three times on Sunday.
Yes.
Plus, I did two Holy Thursdays and two Good Fridays because I did one of the Good Fridays at Mission A, and then I did the other liturgy at Mission B.
Okay.
So that way,
Okay.
the at least one parish will get a Good Friday, the other will get the Holy Thursday, and those two are about maybe 15 miles apart. So they could, if they wanted to go to both, they could do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, we
So
did the same thing. So, we did the same thing. So you said, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You had two Holy Thursday liturgies and two Good Friday
yes,
liturgies. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. And
yes,
so there's
with three
three different
parishes.
parishes, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. That
yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Trust me, it. That's the thing I told the people after having all those liturgies and reading the Passion four times on on Palm Sunday and doing the Passion
Right.
again on Good Friday on top of all the driving. And I think I drove about 900 miles Holy Week.
Oh my gosh.
Well, going for the Chrism Mass.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So,
That makes sense. Um, did you say four readings of the Passion on Palm Sunday?
yeah, the Vigil Mass and then the three on Sunday.
Wow. So you have three Sunday masses plus basically four Sunday masses.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. You're a
yeah.
trooper.
That's why I'm tired. And it's actually been kind of a busy week because I don't know if you knew, but I'm doing a Friday morning show with a rabbi from Israel.
Yeah, you told me that. That's great. I think that's terrific.
It was
I
fun.
think that is
He's a nerd. I'm a
wonderful.
nerd. So
Well,
we ended up spending most of talking Friday about British comedies
okay,
because I just
cool.
got done watching Red Dwarf.
And you'll have to forgive my ignorance. What's that
That's
about?
okay. Basically, a mining ship in space. This guy has a pregnant cat on board as contraband.
Okay.
He ends up going into suspended animation rather than give up the cat. So he's supposed to be in there for 18 months. Well, while he's in suspended animation, protected from time, there's a radiation leak on the ship that kills everybody.
Okay.
And he wakes up 3 million years later. And the cat had morphed into like a human type
You say three
cat.
million years later?
It's a British comedy.
I guess so. Holy cow. Okay. Okay.
So,
Cool.
so
Very
yeah,
cool.
I remember it was on when I was a kid. It's been I think they've been making it for almost 20 some years, 23
Wow.
plus years or something like that.
All right. And tell me the name of
But
it one more
there's
time.
Red Dwarf.
Red
Let's
Dwarf.
see if I
Okay.
can bring up an image of that. I was going to play something because today is April 25th, and I
Yes, it
might
is.
get a little strike from this, but oh well.
Describe
That's all right.
your perfect date.
It's a tough one. I'd have to say April 25th because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten about that. Is that Miss
Shadner actually,
Congeniality?
yeah, Shadner
Yeah.
actually shared that on Twitter today.
Oh, good. Good. No,
So
I've never seen that movie, but I've seen that line.
I've seen
I had
parts of
forgotten
it.
about that. That's cool. That's cool.
So
April
did
25th,
I
Feast of
tell
St.
you?
Mark.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, today's Feast of St. Mark.
Okay, I don't have my
Yep.
saint days memorized.
Well, I just happened to see it in the breviary this morning. I mean, it gets trumped, but I happened to see it as I was flipping through. But anyway, what were you starting to say?
No, I was going to mention I have a Shatner autograph. I don't know if I told you that.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Let me get that. I was
Well,
just going to say
you're
too.
kind of a Star Trek fan, aren't you?
This channel's the Nerd Father.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a nerd. But no, I was
I
going to
still
say
love you, Father Miller.
because I have 3 masses on Sunday, I'm dispensed from the breviary.
Okay.
Here we go. So I justified the money I spent on this for a few reasons. I got it framed.
Okay. Wow, that's Captain Kirk, and it's impressive. Okay.
I'm not trying to be morbid, and I do not want him to die anytime soon because, as I was on another podcast community, it's going to be a very sad day when Shatner dies.
Yeah.
But he's 90.
Oh, is he really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
he was
just
that
turned
old, but
90.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I remember seeing him when I was a little kid, and in the '80s on Unsolved Mysteries.
No, that's Rescue 911.
That. Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. I remember seeing him on that too. I used to like that show when I was a little kid. My bad.
Yeah. So, well, we got a few people watching. Let's say
do.
hi. Snortopoopas is here again.
What?
So, Snortopoopas is one of the fellow members of the community that I'm a part of that
Okay.
we take part in different live streams and all.
Cool.
One of the streams that's happening tonight is Odin's movie blog. Odin is a streamer who's a Catholic teacher too, and he's doing his anti-Oscar party tonight.
Good. Are those going on tonight?
They are, and I don't care.
I didn't even know they were going on.
Good to see you, Miss Martin.
I watched a baseball game today for the first time in, gosh, probably seems like a year, I think. But I don't pay any attention to the Oscars.
Yeah, Chris P's here. Good to see you. So yeah, I made a little investment recently. I just bought a Jason Dominguez card. I think he's a Yankee prospect. He's like 18 years old.
Okay, I would say that name does not ring a bell to me.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Okay.
Anyway, he's been considered to be next Mike Trout.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, Joseph Dominguez. Here we go. Let me bring that up.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I'd love to see this.
This is from 2019.
Okay.
So at the age of 16, he's already signed.
Yeah. A lot of kids in Latin America sign at that age, but do you know where did he play at last year? Well, never mind. They didn't have minor league baseball last year. Where's he playing at this year?
Let's
Any
see.
idea?
I think I'm going to look that up. Let's see.
Yasin
showing?
Dominguez. It is, yes, sir.
Okay. So this is on the MLB page.
Yep.
DSL Yankees.
Okay. Yeah, the DSL stands for Dominican Summer League.
Okay.
And it's pretty decent competition. It's a lot of Latin American players. There used to be most major league teams had at least one team in the Dominican Summer League and then another in the Venezuelan Summer League. But the Venezuelan League, I don't know if it folded or what, but since there's so much political unrest in Venezuela, a lot of teams pulled out of there. And so, I mean, I'm a huge Pirates fan, as you know, and our listeners may not, but I am a huge Pirates fan.
Okay, so
they have,
how good is
what's
your
that?
Pirates history? How good is your Pirates history?
Oh, it depends. I mean, I know some stuff, but
The
why?
reason
What do you
I
ask?
is my very first parish, a parishioner by the name of Larry Shepard was there, and he
Okay.
was the Pirates manager in 1969. before he
Okay.
went on to be the Reds pitching coach during the 70s.
Well, yeah, that would have been at the height of, the Big Red Machine.
But
Um,
it was just fun. I mean, the guy was.
that's cool. That's cool.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, I was just that name does not ring a bell, but that was before my time. I mean, I became a Pirates fan in the early '90s, but so the DSL, the Dominican Summer League, is kind of seen as the better of the Latin American rookie leagues, where a lot of these major league teams will send, these young kids, 16, 17, 18 years old, and they get an education, they go to school, and then they play baseball, and it's a pretty good deal. I did a mission trip with some high school students a few years ago, and we went to the Dominican Republic, and we volunteered at an orphanage for a week and a half. It was a lot of fun, but every morning, because they were a stone's throw away from the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cleveland Indians academies, and so they both ran these basically schools that doubled as baseball factories. And every morning, you would wake up, and just down the road, you would hear loud music, batting practice, and baseball games being played. So it's a pretty sweet deal. There is a ton of baseball talent in the Dominican Republic, and so I'll be interested to follow this kid's career and see how he does in the DSL. It's a decent league.
Well,
It's a decent league.
Well, I bought one of his rookie cards.
Cool.
I got.
How much you spend on that?
About 140.
Okay.
But it's encapsulated, and it's a PSA
Sure.
10.
Well, okay,
It's
yeah.
a Bowman. It's a Bowman. It's a Bowman card, so Bowman's better value for rookies than tops.
Well, as long as you take good care of it, and hopefully his career arc is such that maybe he winds up in Cooperstown one day, that'll be worth some money for you.
I hope. Well, I told you who else I have. I'm pretty
No.
sure I mentioned this one. Okay, so 8 years ago, I bought a Mike Trout rookie card.
Wow.
PSA 10. So that's
How
like
did
the
you?
highest.
Okay, time out. How did you? Trout was not a top prospect in that draft. He didn't get drafted until like 25th overall the year that he got
Well,
picked.
the card was a 2011, and I bought it in 2013.
Okay. I would say, how did
So-
you know to?
I don't remember. I really, truly do not remember. But the thing is, I think I paid $64 for it at the time, which I thought was nuts.
That's peanuts.
That thing's selling for $5,000 on eBay.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it is.
And that is locked up, for those watching, that is locked up in the bank's security deposit box.
Good for you.
Because
That's where
that
I'd
thing's
put it
never
too.
seen
No,
the light of
but
day.
You're exactly right. And, one thing, ironically, COVID has actually brought the baseball card market back. It had really gone dormant for a long time, but COVID has kind of, in a certain sense, brought it back a little bit. And I don't know that it'll ever get back to where it was, but
Well, I don't know. I don't. The
collectors.
thing, I got back into 2013, so that's kind of why I think I
Sure.
really went on the buying spree for a few years. If you want to really, it's kind of like playing the lottery right now, because if you want to get the chance of getting a big payout, you got to go to the hobby store to get the hobby pack or the hobby box. And in a hobby box, you're guaranteed one autographed card
Wow.
and one relic. Now, a hobby box is maybe $120 the last time I looked, but you get a better chance of getting cards you wouldn't get if you went to Walmart.
Sure.
And one of the cards I got in the hobby box I bought 8 years ago was a World Series autograph relic card. That's one of 25 of one of the San Francisco Giants pitchers.
Which one?
I can't remember. I have it.
Wait, was it
written down
Madison
somewhere.
Bumgarner?
Might be.
Well, that's. Did you hear about him today, by the way?
No.
Yeah, so Major League Baseball is doing this ridiculous thing this year, and last year too, and playing 7-inning doubleheaders.
Oh,
So
yeah, I did hear that.
They do that. They do that in the minor leagues, and it makes sense in the minors because, one, they don't care about win-loss record in the minors. They just care about player development, and they don't fly. And so a lot of the times these guys are taking buses to their next game, and they're earning peanuts. They're eating dinner at McDonald's, and so it makes sense. But then last year, due to COVID, and you can tell where I stand on this, Major League Baseball decided that they were going to only play 7-inning games when there was a doubleheader. Well, today the Diamondbacks and Braves had a scheduled doubleheader. The D-backs hit the Braves in the first game. They got their first hit with either 1 or 2 outs in the 6th inning, which is basically the equivalent of the 8th inning in a normal game. And they're talking about it, and they said, well, it wouldn't count anyway because it has to be a 9-inning game. So in the second game of the doubleheader, Madison Bumgarner goes out and throws a no-hitter. Braves got 1 hit in 14 innings today. So Madison Bumgarner, half an hour ago, finished a no-hitter against the Atlanta Braves.
Does that get an asterisk because it's only 7 innings?
Yes, it officially does not count, which I just think is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that they're playing 7-inning doubleheaders. I think it's ridiculous that they're starting with extra. Even people may not know this, extra innings with ghost runners. So extra innings start with a runner on second base now, which I'm just like, that's so stupid. It's not baseball. Whatever game that is, it's not baseball. I don't know what it is, but I mean, that's something you do in T-ball. We used to play that, when we were playing games in our backyard as little kids. You're like, ghosty on second, right? When you run out of players. Well, this is Major League Baseball. Come on. I mean, it bothers me. So as a huge baseball fan, I'm a little torqued off about that because Bumgarner's a good pitcher, and I'd like to see him have a no-hitter. And so, particularly if that's the card you got that's signed by him. But then again, those early 2000 or late 2000s or so. Okay, so well, those Giants teams were still pretty good. They had a lot of good pitchers on those teams. Matt Cain was on those teams. They did, yeah. They won a few. I mean, they were kind of a dynasty then. They won a few series. Matt Cain was there. Bumgarner was there. Jonathan Sanchez, who was actually pretty good at the time. Yeah, they had some good teams at that time.
The reason I was mentioning the hobby box is if you want to get a higher value, the possibility of a higher valued baseball card, then you're going to have to pay for that chance.
No, that's true. I mean,
honestly, I picked up enough cards during that time. It was worth it. Because what I remember doing was going to Toys R Us when it was still open because they had their baseball cards there. And one of the things that was in it is a purple variation. So Topps has the base card. And then like if you go to Target and you get one of theirs, it might be a red border. Or if you go to Walmart, it's a blue border. If you go to Toys R Us, it's a purple border. And what I got that year was I got a few Mike Trout purple borders, which are really rare.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
You
and Mike Trout, man.
Well, I don't remember. There was something that I remember. Something told me that it had a good chance of going into the Hall of Fame. I think they were praising him. So I figured that's why I was going to try to get them.
Well, and that's just, I mean, it's odd, the thing with Mike Trout, what hurts him is playing on the Angels, and you can tell your buddy, Father Tom Schultes, that I said that because I'd tell him that because they play all their games, like they start at 9:00 in the evening. And so he doesn't have the national following. I mean, everybody knows who Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or LeBron James are. If you ask random people on the street if they know who Mike Trout is, most people are going to say no. But Mike Trout is easily the best player in Major League Baseball right now. It's not even close.
That's because we both live in the Midwest.
Right. But I'm just saying, we don't get it. I mean, I'm an MLB.TV subscriber, and I can hardly ever watch them because I go to bed. Like, I got to get up in the morning and go to work and pray and get stuff done. And so I would like to watch Mike Trout play. I'd like to watch Shohei Ohtani for the Angels. But unfortunately, they play too late, and I understand that. They're on the West Coast, and I get it. But it would be good if there was a little more national exposure to him. I don't know how they would do that, but it is what it is. But he's the best player in Major League Baseball, and it's really not close.
So, Well, different topic. Did you get your
Yeah.
shot yet?
I got my
Or
first
no,
one.
you. Okay, which one was
What were
it?
you gonna say?
I was just going to say you had the COVID, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I had it. I
I
had
was going
it.
to say I didn't think you could get it if you had it right away.
Yeah, I waited. And to be real honest with you, I debated getting it, getting the shot. Part of me didn't really want to, but ultimately I decided that it would probably be a good thing to do. Um, and so I got the first one, which there's a lot of evidence, a lot of research that says if you've already had COVID and you get your first shot, that's sufficient. So I'm debating if I'm going to get the second one or not. We'll see. I don't
Which one
know.
was it?
It was the Moderna vaccine.
Okay.
You?
Because I got the second shot 2 weeks ago,
Good.
and I'm beyond happy because I never had side effects.
Good.
Now,
Yeah,
Father. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, no, I was gonna say my side effects were worse. I was sicker when I got my shot than when I actually had COVID.
Huh.
And I mean, I still went to work, I mean, I wasn't gonna take time off of work or anything, but um, when I got my first shot, I was miserable the next day. Like sore throat, body aches, the whole nine yards. I mean, it was awful. And
I was just kind of dreading the second shot because I mean I heard the stories of people that got sick and everything. One
mhm.
person felt like he was going to die. It's like I just want to get this done, and I'm like waiting for it. It's like nothing.
Well, I'm going to keep doing some more research, and if I decide to get my second one, I don't know if I will or not. But if I decide to, I really hope that because I've already had it, I'm really hoping that the second one is just like the first one boosted up the immunity, and the second one is just nothing. I'm hoping. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's medically sound or not, but
I don't know,
it's my hope.
but
I
anyways, I
preached on
told you.
vaccines today.
Oh, good.
I preached about it today. Tried
I
to offer
preach
a
on
little
Good Shepherd
guidance.
Sunday.
What's that?
I preach on Good Shepherd Sunday.
Well, I talked about that too. I mean, I've been talking a lot about vocations lately. I figured they've heard enough from me about vocations because we are just desperate. I mean, it is really, really bad how short we are for priests in our diocese. But I'm like, I need to give a homily on the morality, like really delving into it on COVID-19 vaccines and not like because to be perfectly frank, I mean, I said this in my homily, but to be perfectly frank, the bishop's leadership has been horrible on it. The bishop's leadership has been nothing short of abysmal because essentially they are pushing utilitarianism. They're essentially just saying, well, the COVID is really bad, and so everybody should get the shot to be really nice to people. And I'm like, that's just bad moral theology. So let's just delve into this and really talk through it. What does the church teach? Why does she teach what she teaches? Where's the reasoning for this? Going back to the 2005 and the 2008 documents from the Pontifical Academy for Life and from the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith. And I think it was good. I mean, I think people need to hear that stuff and really have it explained why the church teaches that there's no moral culpability, there's no sin at all in receiving one
Right.
of these vaccines.
See, the thing that kind of drives me nuts is I had somebody approach me yesterday wanting me to look up a website that's it's like unless it's divinely revealed teaching that you have to do it, they're probably not going to take it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a you're dealing with
and
conspiracy nuts
well, and
to
see, this
think.
is oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, no, no! It's just where
I'm talking
it's
over you.
like I'm just in the middle of the conspiracy nuts that think that it's like some big Bill Gates is going to control the world type thing versus the I'm trying to think of how to say it without getting on trouble on YouTube. The vaccine Nazis is
Yes,
that's the term that we
yes,
use when we can't say the N word and
right.
not the
No, I know what you
not the
mean.
really really bad N word.
No, no, I know what you mean. I got you.
But I mean,
Um,
it's like I'm tired of
Silverman's.
both extremes.
Yeah, yeah, No, that's exactly right. And isn't it interesting? That point you said that, well, we only are going to believe things if it's very clearly part of divine revelation. These are the same people that push this nonsense from Fatima that Russia was never consecrated to the Blessed Virgin, right? It's the same folks that push this stuff, even when, what was her name? The visionary said that it
Sister
was.
Lucia.
Yeah, Sister Lucia said that it was. John Paul II said that it was. I mean, I'm just like, you people. It just
Yeah.
drives me nuts. And
Oh
and
yeah.
quite honestly, you and I we would really consider ourselves to be pretty traditional. I mean,
Right.
on the spectrum of ecclesiology, you and I would be pretty darn far to the right. Well, these guys make us look like leftists, and and it's insanity.
Well, if Odin is watching, he'd probably be one that would call me a big lefty too.
Who?
Odin's movie blog, one of the bloggers I blog with,
Oh,
he goes,
oh,
and
okay.
Odin's a friend. Odin is a friend. I love him to death.
Yeah,
He's a big diehard Latin Mass attendee. And if Miss
that's all
Martin
right.
is watching,
Well,
I think she'd
I
probably
have an
attend.
affinity for the Latin Mass. I
I
like the
do
Latin
too.
Mass.
So did
You
you
know,
see? Did
I
you
don't have
see
any
Father
problem with
Reese's
that.
article on that?
Oh, it was horrid. That was so stupid. I mean, he aside from saying that we should all but suppress the traditional Latin Mass, he advocated for the invalid celebration of the anointing of the sick and confession because he said that we should let deacons and lay people do this. I'm
Oh,
like,
no
dude, you need
kidding.
to go back and no, I'm dead serious. Go and read it.
No, 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 no. I know. I did a whole live stream on this because it was
Yeah.
just
I'm
I
like,
had to
dude,
hold my
you
tongue
missed
because I wanted.
sacramental theology 101, man.
I basically almost used a few profanities when I was reading it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I did a live stream, look through of the article and everything. Uh, yeah, he is.
I,
Gotta
you
love
know,
him. Gotta.
I
And the
teach.
thing is, I would love to know what I honestly hope and pray we see is a vernacular translation of the pre-69 or the pre-69
Yeah,
liturgy. I
yeah.
would do that in a heartbeat if we could do it in vernacular.
I would too. And I mean, I don't have any aversion to celebrating in Latin if there's enough people that would like it. I don't know how. I'd need to learn, but this division that is taking place within the church. It's really a movement of the evil one. I think we really need to be clear about that. It's really a movement of the evil one. I mean, we call things that are evil diabolical, and in Spanish the word for devil is el diablo, right? Well, when you look at that word, it's a contraction of two Greek words, which literally means to drive through or to drive in half. Something that's diabolical is something that splits something in half. And I see this split within the church of people who are otherwise faithful Catholics and would really agree on a substantial amount, getting wrapped up in this nonsense about, is Francis really the validly elected Pope?
Oh yeah.
Is Russia really consecrated to the Blessed Virgin Mary? Why is the traditional Latin Mass superior to the ordinary form? I mean, I'm just like, guys, my goodness, with all of the stuff that's going on in our world today, all of the lunacy that's going on in our world today, we're seriously going to spend time arguing about this? Like, we're on the
Well,
same team here, folks.
I tell you what I mentioned in my homily, just talking about vocations more than priesthood. I mean,
Yeah.
I mentioned, and I'm not gonna. One of the things I've tried to do is avoid mentioning my state and everything, just because one of the things I've learned from YouTubers is trying not to dox yourself.
Okay.
In case people want to go after you or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
but I
Yeah.
mentioned some of the religious communities in my diocese and how, and the communities I'm talking about, how
Oh,
they're growing.
tons.
And until I moved here, I never saw a nun that was maybe never saw. All the nuns I would have seen were 30 years older than myself.
Right.
Since I moved here, I'm seeing nuns probably 20 years younger than me.
Right.
And what gives me hope is the orders like the National Dominicans, the Sisters for Life, the ones that are wearing the habit, the ones that are faithful and orthodox are growing, while Sister Simone Campbell, the nuns on the bus, they're dying.
Right.
And Mother Drexel's community, I mentioned it this morning. Mother Drexel's community is pretty much dead. I mean, they sold the mother grounds a few years ago because there's not enough sisters to support it.
That's right. That's right. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Patrick, he's one of my parishioners. Hey, Pat, how you
Okay.
doing? Hope you're well.
I'll let you answer this then.
Oh, great. Okay, so second
Hey,
vaccine.
you gave the hobby on vaccines.
I did, yeah, I did. And I was trying to upload a video to YouTube. I was having a hard time with it. Hopefully it's uploaded by the time we're done, and we'll get her. If it's not, I'll get it taken care of. Okay, so Pat says the second vaccine is still experimental. How does the church's teachings on respecting one's body come into play? Well, in my homily today, I couldn't go into everything, but I talked about the principle of the integral good, which means that the object, the intention, and the circumstance, so what we're doing, why we're doing it, and everything surrounding it must all be good, or the entire action is evil. And I also talked about cooperation with evil, because all of the vaccines currently in market for COVID-19, so the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, the AstraZeneca, all made use either in the production or in the testing phase of a cell line known as HEK293, which is derived from an abortion that took place on a little girl in the Netherlands. And so I back in, I think, 1973. And so I was talking about basically just going through why is it not a sin for a Catholic to receive these vaccines. Patrick Hall here, I think, asks a different question. And this is just my own kind of gut instinct without really delving into the nuts and bolts of it. But the second vaccine is still experimental. How does the church's teachings on respecting one's body come into play? This seems to me to be a question of the principle of double effect. Namely that, let's say that because these vaccines are experimental, and they are, they're being used under experimental use authorization, or emergency use authorization, and they are still experimental. They will not receive full FDA approval until at least 2023, and that's true. It's simply not true to say we know what the long-term effects of these will be. We have no idea what the long-term effects will be. We hope that they won't have any negative long-term effects, but we can't say that with absolute certainty because they haven't existed long enough to know that. We just simply can't know that. And so it seems to me that there's a principle of double effect at play here, that namely, if my action and intention, my object, intention, circumstance in taking the vaccine is good, which the church has already pretty well established in the 2005 document from the Pontifical Academy for Life, and the 2008 document from the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, known as Dignitas Personae, since the church has already established that we can, in good conscience, use a tainted vaccine, if there's a negative consequence from that that's unintended, namely harm done to our own bodies, and there have been harms. I mean, the Johnson & Johnson was halted because of a connection to blood clots. I mean, there certainly have been more claims made to the VAERS. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but basically negative vaccine side effects. There have been a massive increase of those over the last year. And so there are people that are experiencing negative consequences from these vaccines, and it's a lie to say that there are not. But it seems to me that that's a negative consequence that we don't intend from an otherwise good action. And so if it happens, it's not intended, and we incur no moral culpability for any harm done to our own body. That would be my answer. But then that being said, there's a further question of, okay, is it necessarily prudent to take a vaccine that is experimental? And I mean, I don't know what you would say, Father Miller. I would come down squarely on the side of saying you have to decide that. I can't decide that for you. I cannot decide that for you. I can't tell you don't do it. I can't tell you to do it. And the thing that I made clear in my homily this morning, I said, look, I am not a doctor. If you are looking for medical advice out of me, either to take these vaccines or not to, you're looking in the wrong place. That's way beyond my area of expertise.
I kind of made a similar thing. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I was just mentioning, like, okay, a lot of my people don't wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically mentioned it's like, okay, we're starting to slowly roll back the guidelines. We took what we did. I stole this from Father Schultes. We took down about 3/4 of our dividers, or 2/3 of our dividers. So there's open seating and there's divided seating. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want to sit anywhere, go ahead. But respect those that still want to follow the guidelines. Respect those that still want to wear the mask and that stuff, because it's again getting into the, let's just say, the mask Yahtzees and those that say masks won't do anything.
Right. Well, exactly. Extremes usually are never rooted in truth. Aristotle and Aquinas both recognize the virtues almost always in the middle. There's
Well,
something virtuous in the middle. And so, to finish up that point, totally lost my train of thought. What was I just
sorry.
saying? No, you're fine. I don't remember what I was saying. It must not have been that important. Hopefully that makes sense to Pat. The principle of double effect. We don't intend. Oh, I know what it is. I think some of our brother priests have almost de facto given medical advice on these, and I think it's grossly irresponsible because we're not doctors. And I said very clearly in my homily this morning, I am only going to comment on this from the perspective of moral theology as the Catholic Church understands it, because that's my area of expertise. If you want medical advice, then talk to your doctor. Don't talk to me. But also, don't talk to your doctor about ethical advice. It's not their area of expertise. Come talk to me about it.
The thing that I mentioned to the one that's kind of hesitant, it's like, okay, Pope Francis has taken it. Pope Benedict has taken it.
Right.
So, I mean, regardless of your views on either pope, both of them have taken it.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of the day, as I was talking to another brother priest of mine here in our diocese, and we were just discussing this, and he said, you know what, at the end of the day, we have to make a decision based on the knowledge that we have at hand. We don't know some of us might suffer negative consequences from these. That's true. There might be, we 5 years from now, all of us that took it might all die. That could happen. That could happen. I hope it doesn't, but that could happen. We don't know long term what the consequences of this will be.
Well, I'll say
But
that one of my brother priests had a conspiracy theory that thinks because they didn't do it on animal testings, that the Chinese. I gotta be careful how I say this because YouTube will strike it down. YouTube struck down a Crowder video because they talked about vaccines and stuff, and it's like, I won't even go into the conspiracy theory because I don't want YouTube to take this down.
I hear you.
So.
I hear you.
But no,
anyway, it's a good question.
Yeah.
What's that?
No.
And Pat, I don't know if you're listening. If you throw up a comment if we answered your question sufficiently or not.
Well, this was when you asked how he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, I'm looking forward to traveling. I'm going home. I'm gonna try to swing by your place because I'm going up to your former parish.
Oh, good. Up to Fort Dodge?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going up to Fort Dodge because my
No,
uncle
sorry.
still
Yeah,
lives there.
sorry.
It's okay. No. I don't want.
I don't. People know who I am. I don't mind.
Yeah, so. That's fine.
It's all. No, I hear you.
But I mean, I'm going to Vegas this summer for the community that some of the people watching are a part of.
Okay.
So they're having a get together during the Star Trek convention in Vegas, and this was supposed to happen last December. But Nevada did a crackdown on the guidelines, went really strict, and we had to cancel. So I have a voucher through Delta that I have to use, so I'm going to use it for this. So, there you go.
That didn't come through. I assume that means last night. Maybe Pat, maybe you can clarify. I assume maybe that means last night, the way I preached it last night.
Saturday's always the warm-up.
Right. Of the 3 times I gave this homily, I think last night was the weakest. You're not the only. I know where it is.
No, my mom comes from Fort Dodge.
Okay, yeah. So Patrick said, yeah. And if I didn't convey that last night, I apologize. I tried to make that a little more clearer today. That ultimately, we do have, it is up to the individual. And we should never be compelled to cooperate with evil, just from a moral standpoint.
Right.
There are times when it's morally permissible, but morally permissible is not the same thing as ought.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to take the vaccine, then do. If you don't, then understand why people might not want to.
Yeah.
I think.
My
Yes,
dad.
Stephanie. That's my cousin whose dad is in Fort Dodge. So
Ah,
you would know, Stephanie, Father Pat was at Corpus Christi before
well,
he
yeah.
went to his current
Holy Trinity.
assignment. Holy. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's called
I'm
Holy
used to.
Trinity. Yep, yep, no
I'm
problem.
not used to the. I'm not used to. It was always Corpus Christi.
Right. Well, yeah, there's Corpus Christi, Sacred Heart, and Holy Rosary. And eventually they merged them all into one canonical parish. And so now it's just Holy Trinity.
And now the whole county is a parish.
Right. Exactly. The whole county is one parish, one canonical parish. Brother, you are really, really blessed. And I mean, it
Yeah,
just,
but you know, I talked about that this morning too because we had a letter from the bishop because they're trying to push. Well, we're trying to get a bill passed through the legislature that will provide low income scholarships to private schools.
oh, that'd be awesome.
And I basically mentioned, okay, how does that affect us? Because
Oh,
the nearest high
thanks, Stefan.
school, oh, the nearest
Wow.
high school, the nearest Catholic high school here is at least 90 minutes away. So how does this thing that affects mostly the eastern part of the state affect us out
Right.
here? It's like almost all the priests are coming from the Catholic school.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the Catholic schools, we would not be open.
Right. And see, that's where you guys are at. That's what we need to do. I mean, I was telling my students yesterday, I said, I'll bet you there are at least 25 students in our school, 25 boys in our school between the grades K through 12 right now that God is calling to be a priest. But we have not ordained a priest who graduated from our school in at least 25 years. So I said, the size of our classes that we have here, we really should be producing 2 priests a year. We really should be. And so I said, that's 50 priests that we don't have that really should have come out of our school and didn't, either because they didn't hear that call or they said no to it. I mean, I don't know which one it is, probably both. But we've got to do a better job of promoting vote. Like, you guys are doing an awesome job.
Well, but that's the thing I mentioned. That's the thing I mentioned. It's like we still got to keep praying for priests because even though
Absolutely.
we only have 2 people retiring this year and we're ordaining 3,
Sheesh.
we're going to
You're
get to a
so
point
blessed.
where we get to big classes of the class of 9 when they start to retire. We're going to start getting into those big.
Oh. Father Miller, did I lose you? Hello?
Yes. I'm sorry. It
No,
does
that's
that
all
from
right. I don't know
time
if
to
that was
time.
you or me.
No, it was me. For some reason, my computer does that.
It's all right.
I was just saying, we're getting to the time, maybe in 10, 15 years, where we're going to start getting those big classes retiring.
Yeah.
Because I think it was 89, we had a class of 12 that was ordained.
That's just incredible. I mean, man, I tell you, we have 4 retiring this year and ordaining 0. And it just doesn't work. I don't, we're ordaining 0 next year too. God willing, 1 transitional deacon next year. But it just does not, like the numbers don't work. And so it just amazes me that you are having 4 masses between Saturday evening and Sunday.
That's the thing too. And I'll talk to you more about this off air because I don't want to go into this area. But
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's
it's
fine.
like the fact that I have a parish of 25 families open. I told people I don't think anywhere outside of our diocese would have a parish of 25 families open.
Oh, heavens no. We had to close that a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Trust me, if my masses were only 2 or 3 a week, weekend, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to drive 60 miles a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're going through right now in my current assignment is just this process of pastoral planning. It's so painful for people. It's painful for the priests, the parishioners, everybody. And man, I get it. I really do. I get it. And I hope, I hope that God works some type of miracle and starts raising up dozens of priests in our diocese. But that only comes, you mentioned the Catholic schools. It comes from the Catholic schools, but it also comes from families. It comes from families. Brother Miller, you still with me? I think I
Yes.
lost you
Yes.
again.
If I freeze up,
There you
no,
go.
I'm still here. My computer
Okay.
does that for some reason.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
here.
no. What I was saying is, they come from families, and I don't know what the mass attendance is like in your parishes, but again, I very kindly but gently and firmly and directly, I told my students when I talked to them the other day, I said, guys, it's pathetic. We have 1,000 students in our Catholic school, and I can usually count on one hand the number of you that I see at Mass on the weekends. And we wonder why aren't we producing any priests? Because they don't go to Mass.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Get your freaking kids to Mass. Sorry, I get a little passionate about this.
We won't clip that out and make a video of it.
No,
But no,
go ahead.
I totally agree. No, I mean, it's the thing with what I see with the CCD kids I have, and God love them. They're really, really good kids, but do I see the grade school kids during the week or the weekends?
Right.
No. I mean, I'm
Right.
basically in mission territory.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have to. I mean, the thing that was nice, my last parish, all the kids went to the Catholic school.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the thing I don't miss about the last parish is I had a 57,000 school assessment to pay.
That's it?
And this was a very parish of 40 families.
Okay, well, that's
50
pretty
grand for
substantial.
40 families. But I
That's
mean,
pretty
again,
substantial.
but as
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told them, it's the reason we're able to stay open.
Right. And that's what we need.
And that's why I'm glad you're in
need-
school. We need you guys in school.
Absolutely. We need. I am a firm believer that even if you're taking a priest out of a parish, you need young, energetic Catholic priests in the Catholic schools. And I'm not saying I'm one. For whatever reason, the bishop keeps putting me there, but I completely 100% concur. We need young priests in the Catholic schools, inspiring young men to consider the vocation to the priesthood.
Yeah.
And we need young sisters, young, energetic sisters in the Catholic schools, inspiring young women.
Yeah.
That's the next thing I want to start working on for our diocese. If I can, I would love to get religious communities like we all have.
I think the reason it's still working out here is because when we implemented Vatican II, they didn't go bat crap crazy.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they read, Pat Hall just beat me to so he just commented. Probably there's a little bit of a delay, so he'll hear my saying before here in a minute.
There's a 30-second delay.
Yeah, so he'll get it. And so I completely agree with you. They read Perfecta Caritatis the way that it was intended to be read. What Perfecta Caritatis is the Vatican document on the consecrated life and how consecrated religious are to live, what their rule of life should be. And you're exactly right. I mean, it's sad, but there is definitely a dichotomy within religious life in the church today. There are definitely two segments, and the ones that are faithful and still wearing the habit, their religious communities are thriving. Whether it's the Holy Spirit Adoration Sisters, as you said, the Nashville Dominicans, the Dominican Sisters of Mary, the Mother of the Eucharist in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay, I was
the
trying
Religious
to remember
Sisters
what
of
they were.
Mercy. What's that?
I was trying to remember the ones in Michigan.
Yeah, they're an offshoot of the Dominican Sisters of Saint Cecilia, the Nashville Dominicans. It's not that they broke away, but they just kind of started their own community, and I mean now they're both thriving, which is wonderful. You mentioned the Sisters of Life. I mean, there's so many good communities out there for young women.
One of the things that I think is really good in our diocese is we have a Catholic camp. So, I mean, we put on like I had to work it as a deacon, or right before being ordained a deacon, I had to work 9 sky camps. Which was painful,
Nice.
but it's giving kids from throughout the diocese an opportunity to come and learn the faith, meet kids from other parts of the state.
Absolutely. And and let's just be honest. I mean, I'm a product of this. You are not necessarily, but you're certainly involved. The Newman Center at the university and the presence of Focus. the Fellowship
Yeah.
of Catholic
Oh, yeah.
University students.
And that's what excites me.
Exactly.
Iowa City just got Focus this year.
Yeah, they're at the 4 major universities in the state. So the University of Iowa, Iowa State, Drake, and Northern Iowa. And I'm very upfront. It's the best news for vocations in the state of Iowa that we've had in quite
Yeah.
some time, because there is nobody doing the quality of work in terms of evangelization that Focus is right now, anywhere in the church that I'm aware of.
Yeah. That reminds me, I got to get in touch. One of the Focus missionaries at the U of I is from out here, so I got to get in touch with her.
Nice.
Because she's a friend, and I told her I'd get in touch with her when I come back home.
Okay. Good.
So
Good.
But yeah, I'm going to be coming through your way in June. So
Well,
I
tell
got
me
the priest
when
coverage. Well,
offline,
it's the
let's give me the
problem.
exact dates. And
I will.
yeah,
It's just
we'll go
trying to figure
golfing or
out how do
something.
I do this. It's just trying to figure out how, because if I go home and it's going to be the first time in 2 years almost,
Yeah.
it'll be good to see the parents, but I'll probably go nuts after
Absolutely.
a week. So I'm thinking I might go home for a week and a half. And like I said, I want to go up to Fort Dodge to see my uncle and
Good.
also do some family history stuff up there. And then
Good.
probably work my way down to you
Okay.
and maybe make the day of golf work.
Yeah, I
So-
just threw that out there. Whatever. I mean, even if you can go out
I
for
have my
lunch.
clubs with me since
Good.
my original plan was to take the train, but since I'm going for more than a few days, I got to take the cat to the Hilton, as I refer to it.
Okay.
And it's just easier to drive home then.
Yeah. No, road trips are great. Road trips are great. You don't like road trips?
When I was 20, in my 20s, I did.
Oh, well, fair enough. That makes sense.
I mean, okay, it was a 24-hour drive to Philly. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I went out there when I was 30, so, I mean, I was still young. And it
Yep.
wasn't really hard to drive 10, 12 hours a day. Now
Yep.
I'm tired if I do 4.
Well, that's fair. A couple summers ago, I'd always wanted to do this. I took a road trip up through Michigan, saw one of my best friends who's a priest in the Diocese of Lansing.
Is that
And
the one
then-
that was sick?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
doing better. He's doing
Good.
better. Wonderful priest, just a wonderful priest, just on fire with the Lord. Great priest, Father Matthias Thalen. And so I stopped up, visited him for a few days, and crossed the border into Canada, drove through Ontario, went to the North American Martyrs Shrine on Lake Huron, and spent a few days in Toronto, then up to Montreal, then back down through Vermont and New York and Buffalo and Niagara Falls. It was a long trip, but it was fun. It was fun.
Well, but that's the thing I think I told you. So driving to Philly, I took side trips.
Oh, sure.
And I went to Cooperstown, I think I told you,
Yeah.
on one of those trips. I
That
just
would be
figured
worth
since,
it.
the odds of ever getting back to that area are very rare. So,
Right. No, that would be
Might as
worth
well
it.
do it while I
Cooperstown's
can.
awesome.
and I wish I want to go back there.
Good.
So, but we're coming up on the hour. I figured we'd probably go till 7.
Sounds good to me.
Because I'm going to pop off to watch the other stream.
All right. I'm gonna
So,
go pray Vespers and.
I don't have to.
Yeah, that's true. You're lucky.
Because I'm dispensed.
No. Yeah, that's true.
So-
You are. If you have 3 masses in a day, that's true. You are.
So I'll have to tell you, last year's Easter Sunday was the first time I prayed Liturgy of the Hours in probably 3 years.
On Easter.
Because on Easter.
Yeah.
And the office readings, if you remember, are really long on Easter.
Well, they're omitted if you have the vigil.
But because of the thing, we didn't have the vigil last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, you guys didn't have. We had one. Just myself and the other 2 priests. We live streamed it. We just did it.
I'm by
ourselves.
myself. I'm not going to do it
No,
on my
that's-
own.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That makes sense.
So,
All right, brother.
well, thanks everybody for joining us. I'll talk to you for a few minutes offline or off of that.
Sounds good.
So,
Thanks, everybody.
I'll go ahead and catch up with you guys later.